This episode of Casual Compliance is brought to you by fan service. The wheel is back, baby.
Hot damn. I
Back
cannot
by
wait.
popular demand. And by popular demand, I mean 4 people. Two in public, 2 in the comments.
4 people said, I want it. No one said, I don't.
Exactly. The only person who said I don't was me, who was like, oh, maybe it's not really worth anything.
Maybe it's just like as a distraction.
It didn't change our viewership at all. No. Everyone stops watching after the first 30 seconds anyway.
Oh, it's longer than that. Come on, give us some credit.
I love watching that bar. It's so good.
Yeah.
Welcome to Casual Compliance. My name's Gramps.
My name's chillybin.
And we talk about the Commander ban list, using it as a vehicle to discuss the culture of Commander, the number 1 format of Magic the Gathering, the number 2 format now next to Pauper, the most important Magic format. Doesn't have as much of a ban list though. Why does a casual format have a ban list? We're here to discuss that. It's a guideline. It's a discussion point, much like brackets. Talk to your friends about the cards in your deck. And this is why the games might be bad if you have them in your deck.
Yeah.
I'm going to spin a wheel, bringing it back. The wheel's going to tell us what cards we're talking about this week. You'll be reacting the same way we do. That means you know we haven't done any pre-preparation research. You're going to see me press the button as we go. We'll talk about the card, why we think it's banned. Then we'll go off, do a bit of research. We'll come back. I will tell you why it's banned as per the Commander ban list, because that website still exists, thank God. Otherwise, the show wouldn't. And then we'll discuss it from there. By that point, Chillybin will have been on Commander Spellbook and would absolutely be tearing me apart. And I would have been on Reddit, coming up with bad arguments.
Fingers crossed.
For now, if you like us, if you like what you see, we're on Blue Sky, Casual Compliance. We're on TikTok, Casual Compliance. We're on YouTube, Casual Compliance. We're on Spotify, Casual Compliance. We're not on Twitter because fuck Elon Musk. I have to say that every time.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
He continues to be a fuckwit.
Let's get to the wheel.
All right.
Start recording.
Hell yeah.
Spin.
All right. This is maybe why we canned it.
No,
because we just sit here in silence.
I really like it though. Oh, we were so close. Have you heard of Lutri, the Spellchaser?
Oh, I've heard of Lutri.
We've heard of Lutri, the Spellchaser. Let's get on to everyone's favorite companion, shall we? So, just to remind everyone of Lutri.
Including me, because I don't remember its Oracle text.
Is it?
It is.
It's 1 and then 2 hybrid mana, red, blue, red or blue for each. A legendary creature, elemental otter. So it can be a commander, but also companions kind of exist weirdly in Commander. They sit in like a command zone as well-ish.
But they're not part of your deck.
But they're not part of your 99. The companion mechanic, so the companion that lets you cast it from outside of the game mechanic is each non-land in your card.
Have another go.
It's a legendary creature, elemental otter, printed in Ikoria. Ikoria.
Lair of Behemoths.
Companion. Each non-land card in your starting deck has a different name.
Gee. That seems easy to achieve.
No, not if you're making a Hawkball deck. It has flash. When Lutri the Spellchaser enters the battlefield, if you've cast it, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy.
Okay.
Not that bad of a card.
What's its cost? 1 and
then 2 hybrid mana.
So 3 starting cost.
3 cost.
Okay.
Companion.
Yep.
You can cast it from outside of the game.
Is it casted or put it into hand? I can't remember how companion actually works.
This here says if this card is your chosen companion, you may cast it once from outside the game.
Okay. And then it still can go to graveyard, whatever.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't get it. So here's the thing.
On cast, you're copying an instant or sorcery
If
spell?
you cast it, when it enters the battlefield, cast it,
right,
copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. So like the Emerald Cruel kind of.
Yeah, so the idea
can't be placed, has to be cast.
So the idea is like you've got a spell on the stack, you flash this, when it enters, then that trigger happens and you're copying a spell on the stack.
And you can choose new targets.
Yeah.
For 3 cost, that's a pretty standard mechanic. That's a pretty standard red mechanic. So I don't see why Lutri is the problem.
My first thoughts are like, it's an ETB effect, right? So if you've got a way to blink it on demand, you've got on-tap spell duplication.
No, you don't. because if you cast it, when you're blinking, you're not casting
No.
it.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So, because that was where my moment at first, like, oh, if this is blinked, it's fucked, but it's not.
Yeah, because if you had that, say you had that as your commander, you are paying 2 more every time
You do it.
which there's ways to get around that, but still.
Yeah.
Like, the theory is you're paying an escalating cost to do the same thing.
But if Lutri is not your commander,
You
then
get to do it
it's basically a
once.
You get to do it once, because that's what it says.
And
that
then
you
if
can
you've
play
got a way
once,
to cast it out of graveyard or what have
then
you,
you get to do escapes and stuff
or
like
you've
that.
got a way to return it to hand.
But then you want to be playing something like a Grixis commander.
Yeah.
And that's adding an extra color into it.
It is,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, why do you think this is banned?
I think it's got to be something to do with the like abusing that ETB spell copy being too easy to like reproduce reliably. That's the kind of ballpark I'm operating in right now. You know, there's big spells, for example. They're expensive to cast for a reason.
Yeah.
And then if you are
Paying three
to duplicate it, like, yeah.
Especially with having flash. Like, you can do Lutri at any time.
Yeah. And I think if it didn't have flash, it wouldn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, well.
There's nothing on the stack.
Yeah.
I don't have like an immediate combo jumping out to me, but I strongly suspect there is a very obvious line that I'm not thinking of right now.
Is very well known. What was it? The Bloomburrow Izzet deck had an infinite combo in it accidentally.
Yeah.
Like they printed a bracket forward deck out the gate with a 2-card infinite combo. So it's not out of the realm where Izzet can accidentally pop off.
Yeah.
Really.
Or like if you were making copies of this, like, yes, a bunch of them would die to the legend rule. That ETB is still
it's still copying.
Wait, no, because you have to cast it.
Yeah. But you said there are things that let you cast copies for free. Copy the spell and cast it, or
Yeah.
But I mean, that's still getting into pedantism and specifics of card syntax.
Yeah, like I'm trying to find the like big obvious sign for why this card is banned.
So, do you think it can be unbanned on face value without research?
I think, yeah, based on just the wording of it, I think possibly. And like with everything I say on the show, there's an asterisk of I haven't found the reason yet.
I think
I think like, yeah, as it's written, it's like cast this creature, it enters, copy a spell. There's plenty of things that'll let you do that. Seems okay.
This is our first mainline episode after brackets, because the first one that will come out, because the other one we lost. We've lost an episode. It's gone back on the list. We've instantly forgotten the card.
No one knows.
Nope, they all know now.
Don't
We've
worry about it.
instantly forgotten it.
Yeah.
This is the first mainline episode that we're recording after.
Yeah.
Does this get unbanned, or does it go into the game changer list, or does it stay banned?
Well, okay. So
Can this be a game changer?
So what they've said with regards to unbanning is they will go to the game changers list as a way to like continue to keep an eye on them.
Which is an extra depth to this show.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a game changer more than an unban?
I want to say yes, but only because it has been banned.
Yeah.
Like the point is like banning a card is suggesting that it is at a level of power or resource creep or whatever that is deemed too much.
Yeah.
And if you bring it back, it's like you should probably be telling people you've got this.
Yeah.
Is kind of what that is meant to signal.
Yeah.
If it could stay unbanned, that's more what the question becomes now.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what the game changer test is. Can
yeah,
this
put it in the game
remain
changers, see how that affects games.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all us like speculating from the outside. We don't actually know how this would function because they haven't done any yet.
Yeah.
And we're recording this at the end of March. I think April is when they said they
Is
might.
the next one, yeah.
They might unban something.
With Tarkia Dragonstorm, which
Yeah.
comes out April 11,
Couple of weeks.
this one will release on the 5th.
Yeah, okay.
So that's when pre-release is out
Yeah.
for Tarkia. I hope you're enjoying your Tarkia time, America.
How sick are dragons?
Dragons are cool. We're all sad in the Vorthos community that Nicol Bolas is back and they couldn't come up with a good fucking villain. So, but yeah, enjoy your Tarkia. And while we do this research time, maybe a little reminder from our syntax sergeant who only comes sometimes on what you can do to find new Tarkia cards.
Oh boy, I'm back for another one of these where I talk about syntax, cards, and how to find them. Partially because Gramps kind of put me on the spot and didn't leave me a way to edit around it, but hey, here we are. Let's go look for some Dragonstorm cards, shall we? So because I'm recording this a day before pre-release weekend for Tarkia Dragonstorm, Scryfall does have these links here, so you can just click on those to look at new Tarkia Dragonstorm. New Tarkia Dragonstorm Commander. New Tarkia Dragonstorm Special Guests. Wow, the MTG Wiki has moved to mtg.wiki. Or of course you can click on All Sets here, and then click on either Tarkia Dragonstorm or Tarkia Dragonstorm Commander. There are of course Tarkia Dragonstorm tokens, and Tarkia Dragonstorm Commander tokens, but they're tokens. Don't worry about them. Or there's the way that I typically look things like this up, which is just by searching with the set codes. So in this case we're looking for either ETDM or ETDC, where E is the shorthand for set code, and we get 649 cards. Now of course, like me, you might be wondering, just how many dragons are there in Tarkia Dragonstorm? And the answer is 72. Not actually that many when you think about it, and if you do math about it, you'll see that it's just over 11% of this set called Dragonstorm. 11% of them are actually dragons. And there you have it. That is Tarkia Dragonstorm, how to find dragons in amongst the Dragonstorm. And I'll be back with another one of these segments when I figure out just what to do with it. Bye.
Hi, welcome back to Casual Compliance. I hope you enjoyed our research time. Chillybin sure didn't.
Thanks for making work for me.
Hey man, we tried.
Yeah. We're just bringing everything back this episode.
Well, yeah, bringing it all back. No, I just meant that you struggled in this one.
I did.
Now, just as a reminder, we're talking about Lutri, the Spellchaser, okay? Which is a 3-cost, 1 hybrid is it, legendary creature elemental otter. It's a 3/2 creature. It's got companion. Each non-land card in your starting deck has a different name. Importantly, companion was changed from when this card was released to what it is now. The card itself on the Oracle text for printings prior to the Master Set or to the times they were all reprinted, the card itself says if it was my chosen commander, I can cast it from outside the game once.
Chosen companion.
Sorry, chosen companion.
Yeah.
Now the cards say, if this card is your chosen companion, you may put it in your hand from outside the game for 3 generic as a sorcery. And it looks like you can do that as many times as you want. It does not say once.
it is once. It's in the Scryfall rulings. Once it's in your hand, it behaves like any other card you've brought into the game. So if it's discarded, countered,
so
destroyed, it goes to graveyard.
So.
Exile. Exile would be like it's out of the game.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can bring it back if it's exiled, because that'd be stupid.
That'd be fun, but it would be stupid. So talking about Lutri, and then it's got flash when it enters the battlefield if you cast it, which is really important. Copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. So one that's on the stack.
Yeah.
You may choose new targets for the copy.
I'm pretty sure every copy ability or spell has that sentence about choosing new targets.
Exactly. And then as well, almost every copy spell is somewhere neatly fit between 2 and 4 mana. Yeah. In mostly red. With a bit of expressive iteration is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a standard for the ban. So this was printed in April in 2020 during Ikoria.
Yep.
It was banned in April 2020. It was banned on release.
Holy
from
shit.
Commander. Lutri, and this is verbatim from the mtgcommander.net. Lutri is a unique category of banned cards that interact poorly with the structure of the format. In general terms, companions encourage creative deck building and reinforce the idea that self-imposed restrictions can be fun and novel. Lutri's restriction is met by nearly all commander decks, not Hawkball.
Yeah, outside of stuff like Persistent Petitioners, Relentless
Slimes.
Rats, whatever.
So it allows all decks with blue and red to have a 101st card in deck and an 8th card in their hand.
True. Yeah.
I actually think it goes beyond that. It's an 101st card in deck, but it's an immediately tutored 101st card.
Yeah.
Because you have to pay 3 for it to get into your hand.
It's basically
a tutor.
Yeah, it's like your 101st card is your commander.
Exactly.
Like you can it's always there, it's always available.
Yeah. And the thing with that as well, I guess, is there's no sideboards.
No.
There's no wish boards. There's none of that. So lessons don't get to be in, but companions do.
Yeah.
Conspiracies fucking don't.
No, but we talked about this.
I'm just saying.
Can't do
and this
that.
gets to my argument. I know you struggled, so I'm gonna go out first,
Okay.
and while you can position yourself here.
Yeah.
This one's for you, Tom.
Which Tom?
Oh,
We've had two different Toms
this
on the
one's
show.
for you, Attack on Cardboard.
There we go.
You're gonna love this. Lutri the Spellchaser, if it were unbanned, would become Soul Ring for decks that run Is It. If your deck has red and blue and Lutri's unbanned, much like Soul Ring being in every fucking commander deck under the sun, Lutri will start being in that commander deck. Now, that's an argument for it to be banned, and it's wild coming from me to have that. But this concept, and this is what I've read a lot everywhere, and I don't think it's wrong. Lutri, its mechanic is so embedded in Is It
Yeah.
that it would be an auto include.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to take anything out for it.
No.
But it is 6 mana for a single use double spell, and that's really expensive.
6 mana for the first time you cast it. 'Cause you got to pay the 3 to put it in hand, 3 to cast it.
And casting it again in Is It is possible.
Oh, yeah.
Casting it again in Is It is possible.
Yeah, yeah. Return it to hand.
Unsummons,
so many ways.
all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And but still, then that's another 3 costs. But again, you can do that with all of the other spells in Is It.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a reason for it to be banned. The homogenization of deck design for Is It might be a problem.
Yeah.
We've seen that with other cards like Ancestral Recall that we've yet to discuss. It's a $600 card. If it was unbanned, everyone would have to play it, and no one can afford a $600 card. Yes, we understand, do the proxies, yada yada, but that's the whole point of it being banned. Lutri is similar. It's not an expensive card,
Yeah.
but it would become synonymous with Is It.
Yeah. Well, it also, to that sort of the language and the ban reason, like it then creates this unfair disparity between Is It and everything else, which is you're allowed to have 101 cards.
Yes. And the thing is, I understand what it means by trying to promote different deck design, right? So let's look at some of the other companions that we have. I want to look at Karuga the Macro Sage, which we spoke about in research time. I also want to look at Umori the Collector.
Okay.
Lurrus of the Dream Den was also banned at one point.
Really?
Because when Commander used the vintage ban list as its basis, Lurrus was on that.
Oh, right.
Karuga the Macro Sage, 5 cost, 3 Simic Hybrid, which is green, blue, green, blue. Your starting deck contains only cards with CMC 3 or higher and lands.
Yeah.
When it ETBs, draw a card for each other permanent you control with CMC 3 or higher.
So I think like restriction breeds creativity, right?
Yeah.
You are forced to play everything 3 or greater. So like that is a deck building a restriction that is imposed on you by choosing to run this as a companion. Lutri doesn't have that, right?
Lutri doesn't have that.
Lutri can be included in just about every Is It or greater commander deck just by default.
Yes.
Unless you're running cards that can have any number of them.
Well, in Commander, where the curve really starts at 3, you can forego a Soul Ring.
Yeah, you could pass up your first couple of turns.
Exactly, for Karuga to be in there. And yes, it's an 8 cost for a massive draw.
Yeah.
And, green and blue don't really struggle for it, but it's just an extra 101st draw spell that you have on the side.
But if you're running a deck that like cares a lot about drawing a lot of cards at once, if there's some trigger that you want to go wide with, that's a really fun inclusion, because then it's like, cool, I'm going to put this in my hand, play it out, and then suddenly draw a ton of cards and have like damage go off or a bunch of stuff happen from drawing cards. Like I think that could lead to fun moments.
Look at the other one, which is Lurrus of the Dream Den, which is an Orzhov one. So 3 CMC, much like Lutri, 1 Orzhov Hybrid.
Yep.
Each permanent card in your starting deck has converted mana cost CMC 2 or less.
Right.
Comes with lifelink, and during each of your turns, you may cast 1 permanent spell with CMC 2 or less from your graveyard.
Fun.
It's like a really cool Abzan-y kind of, you'd want to have it in your your Abzan deck with your graveyards.
But if you're running like 2 or less mana, there's a power ceiling that you're going to run into, right? Like 2 cost stuff is only going to get so big, but then maybe you're running a ton of like token generation, or some of the tokens you're generating are problematic. Like maybe you run a Dark Depths in there, right? Get a 20/20 out, which you would not be able to get on a 2 mana or less spell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the big one is the Umori, the Collector. So legendary creature Ooze. It's Golgari, 4 cost, 2, and then Golgari Hybrid.
Yep.
Each non-land card in your starting deck shares a card type. Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah.
As it enters the battlefield, choose a card type. Spells you cast of the chosen type cost 1 less to cast. And it's a 4/5.
How would you do that? I feel like you'd either want to go around creatures or artifacts, because those can overlap pretty well, and then lean heavily into like triggered and activated abilities to get some like instant speed stuff on there.
Kindred. I immediately think of my Golgari elves.
Yeah.
Because there's kindred spells as well. There's kindred kill spells that are elf spells.
Yeah.
You know,
They don't really print those anymore, but they used to.
but yeah, I mean, look, you got the even fairies, Bitter Blossom.
Yeah.
You could do a Sultai fairies deck.
Yeah, you're like tribal enchantments they used to print. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, there's companions that do promote interesting deck building.
Yeah.
But still act as a 101st card. That is
Yes.
also that basically is a no-brainer in those colors to have on the side anyway.
Yeah, I think it's like it is a benefit by being a 101st card and maybe having some other use, but the drawback is the restriction it forces you to play under.
I don't think some of these are drawbacks. Like in Simic, you're running CMC 3 or higher mostly anyway. That's where Tatiova's 5 cost.
True.
3 is not a big ask.
No.
If it was 2 or higher, sorry, if it was 4 or higher,
Yeah.
then you're getting more restricted. I just don't think 3 is it. Same with like Kahira, the Orphan Guard. Each creature in your starting deck is a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast. Congratulations.
What a weird combo,
That's
by the way.
Selesnya.
What a weird combo.
You've done it. Like, that ain't hard. And each other creature you control that's one of these has +1 in vigilance.
Yeah.
Sick. Like, that ain't a hard. That's an auto include in any Selesnya deck. Because every Selesnya deck or Naya or anything else is running cats and dogs.
Not every, but I see your point. A lot of them are.
Most of
There's
them.
at least one cat
All
or
the
dog.
good ones are running cats and dogs. I think we either ban Companion as a mechanic and commander like Conspiracy, or like Lutri. I just don't think Lutri has a place on this list because the argument is the Soul Ring argument, and Soul Ring remains in the format.
Yeah. Well, it's Soul Ring, but down a little bit because Soul Ring is colorless. This would basically just make every deck just that little bit
stronger
Yeah.
for 6 mana.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is it's a 30-cent card. So it's not inaccessible.
No.
It's not inaccessible.
But I think like if you're running a deck where you want to copy spells a bunch, say you've got like some artifacts let you do that or creatures let you do that.
Yeah.
You still have to find them and get them out
Yeah.
in order to like start running those lines. Yeah. Again, it's down to that like ease of access. It's just right there.
Pay 3 at the sorcery speed.
Yeah.
Get it into your hand and then play the instant.
Yeah.
Pay 3.
I think
to bring out
it's
Lutri,
not
double
like
it.
each of those aspects is not why it's banned. It's the combination of all of them, I think.
Yeah.
It's just on tap. I've got the ability. Yeah, it's 6 to get it going, but it's there if I really need it.
So I guess in this then, well, let's before I get ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you found specifically that
Yeah,
goes
there's
towards
a
it?
few things. I think you touched on some of it, like the idea of copying spells roughly seems about like a 2 or 3 cost as your minimum point of entry. So like the costing on this is not really problematic.
It's not bad.
But there are some that are just like it'll cost you 3 to copy a spell. There are some more modern printings of that effect that have extra restrictions placed on them. Just to give you an idea of like maybe how card design is shifting over the years with regards to copying spells.
Yeah.
So we've got Stellar Lee, wild card, for example. 1 blue-red for a legendary human rogue, 2/4. It was one of the OTJ commanders. I think it was the face commander of the deck there. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, exile top card of your library. Till the end of your next turn, you may play that card. And then tap, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets. Activate this only if you cast 3 or more spells this turn. So like tap is a relatively cheap cost for that.
Yeah.
But you have to have already
3 spells first.
like you have to if you've cast. So as you put the 3rd spell on the stack, you could then tap to copy it, which I think is generally how you want to run that. So like there's a little bit of a like push and pull there in terms of like the cost versus the drawback versus the sort of reward there.
Yeah, as Mark Rosewater says in most of his podcasts, it's the knob they can tune for costs is how to fine tune it, and they've started to not shy away from adding more words to make costs more consistent.
Yeah, there's from the Ravnica Clue edition.
Oh,
you remember this? So there's Resonance Technician, which is 3 and then 2 hybrid, is it? For a weird detective.
that's weird.
I just love that type line. 4/4 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, investigate twice. And then tap X untapped artifacts you control. So that's your cost.
Yeah.
Copy target instant or sorcery spell you control with mana value X.
It's like forced improvise.
So basically, you've got to essentially pay the whole cost of the spell again in order to do that.
Okay.
What else have we got? League Guild Mage, blue-red for a 2/2 human wizard. It's got a draw card ability, but the copy ability here is X and red and tap. Copy target instant or sorcery spell with mana value X. So again, you're basically having to pay the whole cost again. The one that I looked at, and in light of Lutri and copying things and maybe abusing that ability, looked at it and went, why is this legal?
Yeah.
Ruther, Mercurial Artist from Strixhaven.
Yeah.
It's an uncommon legendary Orc Shaman, 1 blue-red.
Good.
For the cost of 2 generic mana and returning Ruther to your hand, copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy.
Which is a benefit.
And
returning it to your hand is a
because
fucking
then you
benefit.
can play it again. It doesn't involve the tap symbol, so you can do it the same turn
Whenever
it
you
comes
want.
in.
Yeah.
That seems deeply easy to abuse if you wanted to like run a bunch of copy.
It's very good.
Yeah.
It's very good.
And I was just like, that seems so easy to abuse. Then I went down a road of like, okay, like not necessarily thinking about why it might be banned, but how could you make it worse, which I quite like to do sometimes.
Yes, love it.
So I went and looked at the Peregrine Dynamo. So 3-cost, colorless, legendary artifact creature construct, power and toughness 1/5, has haste. And for the cost of 1 and tap, copy target activated or triggered ability you control from another legendary source that's not a commander.
Okay, nice.
So if this is your companion,
Easy.
you can pretty cheaply copy it.
Yeah.
So you can get 2 copies of the spell. That's kind of the road I went down. It's like, how do you just get a lot of copies? Then obviously something like Strionic Resonator.
Yep.
2-cost artifact, pay 2 and tap it, copy target triggered
Such a
ability
good card.
you control. You may choose new targets.
Such a good card.
So yeah, like in terms of like its ability and its cost, I don't think Lutri is problematic in that sense. I think it is purely down to how easy it is to like get it when you need it in terms of being able to copy spells, and maybe you're trying to run up a storm count and do a bunch of stuff that way, which is what I went to Commander Spellbook for.
Yeah.
So I was like,
good.
okay,
Let's see.
assuming there's a way to abuse it,
Yeah.
what do we got? So first one is Lutri the Spellchaser and a card called Release to the Wind, which is an instant, for 2 and a blue. Exile target non-land permanent for as long as that card remains exiled. Its owner may cast it without paying its mana cost.
Great.
So the sort of play pattern here is, I don't know, mana needed is 3. Well, it's basically the cost of those 2 cards combined. So it's a total of 6 mana.
Yeah.
You got to have
Which is what Lutri costs anyway, really.
yeah.
Yeah.
The initial card state is you already have both those cards in hand. So you have to cast both of these as part of this combo. At least 1 non-land permanent on the battlefield, and you're basically going cast Release the Wind with any target and declare that you're holding priority. Cast Lutri, have its ETB target Release the Wind. You let the copy of Release the Wind target Lutri, let the copy resolve first. Do not let the original resolve.
Yeah.
Cast Lutri from exile. Target the original, Release the Wind with Lutri's ETB. And
Infinite
just
storm count.
run the loop. Yeah, so you got
Infinite
infinite
storm count.
enter and leave the battlefield effects, and then infinite storm.
Grape shot.
Exponential grape shot.
Exponential grape shot.
And then the other combo I found includes a card called Aluren, Aluren. It's printed in, I believe, what is that? TPR? I don't even know what that set code is.
TPR.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Think about that, right? But anyway, it is a cost of 2 green for an enchantment. Any player may play creature cards with converted mana cost 3 or less without paying their mana cost, and as though they had flash.
Oh,
So
wow.
that would let you cast Lutri for free. And then it also includes a card called Snap. For 1 and a blue, it's an instant. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Untap up to 2 lands. So you have Aluren on the field, Lutri and Snap in hand. There's at least one other creature on the battlefield. You've got 1 and a blue available. You cast Snap by paying 1 and a blue, targeting any creature. Holding priority, cast Lutri by paying 0.
Love it.
When Lutri enters, it triggers, you copy Snap, targeting Lutri, resolve the copy, putting Lutri back in your hand, untapping 2 lands, and you can basically just play Snap and Lutri on a loop forever.
Fantastic.
So obviously,
that's just
same sort of
infinite storm count,
infinite mana too.
exponential grape shot.
Infinite mana lands you control can produce because you're if you where are we? Yeah, it says optionally you may activate up to 2 lands by tapping them, adding at least 1. So you're adding 1 generic mana every time.
So TPR, just as for everyone, was a Magic the Gathering online, so MTGO only thing.
All right,
but it's a remastered set. Of Tempest.
Right. So it would have been printed in Tempest.
So themes, Flowstone, Spikes, and Slivers.
Great.
But yeah, so and you know, I wish they would bring out Tempest remastered for paper Magic, but that's just me.
Yeah.
So thinking of a fix. By the way, every time we mention the card or like talk about the card in full, I'm hoping that you use the art from Justine Murray Anderson. It's fucking gorgeous.
Weird.
So it was a special guest that came out, Multiverse Legend that came out during March of the Machine, I think it was, or Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Lutri just kind of
sick.
dunking on Elishnorn. Oh.
It's so good.
When I say that we should ban Companion as a mechanic in Magic, I don't think we should ban the cards. I think that we remove Companion fully from it. The card should be legal in the 99.
Yeah.
Lutri, a great card in an Izzet deck.
Honestly, I think if you took Companion off it, you wouldn't see it run a lot.
No, absolutely not. If your deck is made for copying spells and stuff like that, like you might put it in an Otter deck. Again, Bloomburrow Otters, huge.
Great fun.
Bria, the deck that only the card that only came in the starter deck to like intro to play Magic.
Yeah.
The most cracked fucking Otter. Lutri, amazing in there. So like there will be places for it, but I think if you got rid of Companion entirely in terms of changing the way deck design does, I don't think it would affect any of these Companion cards at all.
Yeah.
Because you're paying it for its cost.
Yeah.
Some of them might be a bit cracked in terms of power, but there are things that do similar things.
Well, I think some of those ones like the one that cares about like mana value 3 or greater, right? Yeah. Like if that didn't have that Companion restriction, you could still build the deck around it in that same way.
Absolutely.
It just isn't an extra card.
Jengartha is a 5 cost to tap Jengartha, add Wooburg. It's a Gruul one.
Right.
But tap to add Wooburg, this mana can't be spent to pay generic mana costs for a 4/5 or for a 5/5.
Right, okay.
Not a bad creature.
Yeah.
Can just go in a deck. Doesn't need...
Well, it's got to be a Wooburg.
It's got to be a Wooburg deck, but everyone loves Wooburg deck. That'd be a rad Wooburg commander because it's just like Jensen.
What if you're like running, what is it?
Jared Cathalion.
Ramos Dragon Engine that produces Wooburg, and then Door to Nothingness. I think it's like double Wooburg, remove a player from the game.
Yep. Hey, Coalition victory, baby. Bring it back.
Shit.
None of these companions are really broken by removing the requirement of the companion restriction.
Yeah.
They're kind of gassed up, really. I don't think any of them are specifically auto includes.
No.
So like you could remove the companion mechanic requirement.
You see them every now and then because them acting as a companion makes it interesting.
Yes.
If they didn't have that,
it's just
you might see them. Yeah. I don't know.
I think the one you'd see the most is Loris because you may cast one of them from your graveyard if it's mana cost 2 or less. That's already quite restrictive.
Yeah, I feel like
you get that in cleric class.
I feel like you might start to see them run as commanders in that sense because like you want to get the most out of that ability.
Yeah.
You want to have it in the command zone so you've got access to it.
Which I wouldn't be offended with, really. Yeah. I think
yeah, I mean you can still do that. They're all legendary creatures.
I think, Bo, if we're looking at Lutri by itself and not changing the companion mechanic, I think you invert the thing, which is you must have a non-land permanent that has more than one of the same card type in your library.
No, see, Lutri cares about names. So it's got to be every non-land card has the same name.
No. But, you wouldn't go every non-land card, but there must be a non-land card that shares a name with another non-land card in your deck. That would be interesting because that means it really only goes into persistent petitioner decks, but those don't play fucking red.
Dragon's Approach, right? Hey, that's the red one.
That's a good one. I mean, I think, I don't think it should be banned. I think it could go onto the game changer list pretty easy.
Yeah.
Because it's a 6 cost duplicate. Yes, they can have their 101st card.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, so I think...
No one's going to run as a commander. No one's going to run in 99. So, have their 101st because that means when they pay the 3 and put it in their hand, I know what I'm countering.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's one use, done.
So that is kind of the modern state we find ourselves in post brackets is I think you could take this and put it in the game changers list.
Yep.
And then give it, I don't know, 3 months, whatever your review period is, and just see, get and like try to find specific feedback about people playing against decks that include Lutri.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, sorry, it's not your deck, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. The lists that include Lutri.
Yeah. Like, what do you see change? And that becomes the hard thing with a global massive community is it's then down to the like 18 people on the format panel to try and solicit that feedback.
Exactly. And the 7 people on Reddit that are arguing with each other that you don't get why it's banned if you're saying it can be unbanned.
Yeah.
I get it. Ban Soul Ring. They're never going to do it.
No, and I honestly don't think they should.
Unless Tom gets his way.
Yeah. But yeah, I think if we didn't have the game changers as the like testing ground, essentially, the way they've talked about it, like it feels like one of those ones that could get unbanned, but then might just end up getting banned again not long after. Because we've seen, even with cards that like are banned shortly after release, that's kind of the amount of time I'm thinking about. Is like it comes out and then 3 months later they're like, whoops, mistake.
We made a mistake. Back on it goes.
Yeah.
Look, I like that. I thank the CFP, and I'm thanking specifically our local member of the CFP. Don't forget to email your local members of the CFP to let them know how you think it's going.
Please be nice to them.
Exactly, because we will find you.
Yeah.
And I will commit you.
Yep.
Thank you to the CFP for creating the game changer list because it adds an extra level of depth to this show.
And it has fucking shifted the goalposts.
It shifted the goalpost, meaning I'm more likely to win some.
Yeah.
Even though this isn't a competitive show.
No.
I'm competitive.
So okay, so we've got, in terms of like possible outcomes for our episodes now, it's remains banned.
Remains banned.
Could be unbanned, which is fully like, yeah, this card's fine.
It's fine.
And then what do we call the one in the middle? It's like...
It's a game changer.
Yeah, but it's less of like we're elevating it to a game changer to say like this card is more powerful, look out for it. It's more we've released it from prison. It's on parole.
I'm sure. So our first one for on parole, Lutri the Spellchaser.
Lutri, you're on fucking notice.
You're on parole.
You're on watch.
You're testable. Watch. Hey, here's the thing as well. Is now every 3 months or how often they're going to do it. We're going to find out how many cards we were right about going on the game changer list as well. Because that's gonna mess with our format too. If they take a bunch of cards off, we're gonna have less episodes to do.
Shit. You gotta start thinking about what comes next.
Well, we're diversifying.
Yeah.
The interviews are working.
Yeah.
If you think that we're right, if you think that we're wrong, if you think we're dumb because we think Lutri can be unbanned, so we don't get why it's banned.
Put on parole.
Put on parole. Then go to our comments. Time code it where you think we're wrong and let us know. Time code it where you think we're right and let us know. We read all the comments. We do try to reply to them as much as possible. If you're watching this on TikTok, thank you for watching this on TikTok.
That would require me to put this exact part of the show into a clip.
But you're not going to, and it's fine. But if you do watch us on TikTok, interact with us there. I am trying to get better at responding on TikTok too, but thank you to everyone on TikTok who's been following us lately. We've had a bit of a blow up, which has been really nice. Casual compliance everywhere that reasonable people are. And if there are unreasonable people there, we're probably not.
Yep.
Just as pat our own backs, we're pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Casualcompliance@gmail.com as well. Let us know what you think. And if you're soliciting us for fucking click farms and shit like that, please stop.
Yeah.
I'm not paying that PayPal.
Do you think those people are watching our episodes?
Absolutely.
No way.
He sent me a screenshot of our SEO chillybin.